Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headline: The Prime Minister undertakes a two-day official visit to Qatar from today. The Senate was informed today that over 100 Khawarij were killed in retributive strikes carried out by the Pakistan Air Force against Fitna al-Khawarij in Afghanistan. Prime Minister's advisor on political affairs has urged the opposition to be a part of the political process to strengthen democracy in the country. The planning minister says the government is equipping the young generation with digital expertise. 690 women have been martyred by the Indian forces since January 2001 in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In the Super 8 stage of the ICC T20 World Cup, Zimbabwe will face the West Indies in Wankhede today. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Mohammed Shahbaz Sharif undertakes a two-day official visit to Qatar from today at the invitation of the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. The visit reflects the deep-rooted fraternal ties between the two countries and underscores their shared commitment to further strengthening multifaceted cooperation. During his stay in Doha, the Prime Minister will hold a bilateral meeting with Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, covering the entire spectrum of bilateral relations, including political engagement, economic collaboration, energy partnership, and people-to-people exchanges. The Senate was informed today that over 100 Khawarij have been killed in retributive strikes carried out by the Pakistan Air Force against Fitna al-Khawarij in Afghanistan. Briefing the upper house, the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Tariq Fazal Chaudhry, said Pakistan conducted the strikes after the Taliban administration failed to prevent terrorists from using the Afghan soil to carry out attacks inside Pakistan. He said terrorist sanctuaries and training camps were targeted in precision strikes across 3 Afghan provinces. The minister said Islamabad had repeatedly shared credible evidence of militants using the Afghan territory to carry out violent activities inside Pakistan, but Kabul remained unable to effectively curb such actions. He made it clear that Pakistan reserves the right to respond to terrorist activities in self-defense and is determined to carry out similar retributive actions in future if such activities continue. The Prime Minister's advisor on political and public affairs, Rana Sanaullah Khan, has urged the opposition to be a part of the political process to sort out issues and strengthen democracy in the country. Responding to points raised by the opposition leader, Raja Nasir Abbas, in the Senate, he regretted that the opposition tried to avoid the political process, which always led to a deadlock. Rana Sanaullah Khan informed the House that all entitled facilities are being provided to the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf founder. He said medical aid was provided to him as per the directions of the Apex Court. Earlier speaking on the floor of the House, Raja Nasir Abbas demanded the government to transfer the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf founder from prison to a hospital for medical treatment. He further said cases against the PTI founder should be heard expeditiously. 5 Indian-sponsored Khawarij have been killed by the security forces during an intelligence-based operation in Pashin district of Balochistan. According to ISPR, the troops effectively engaged the entire Tashkil with multiple weapons during the operation. After an intense exchange of fire, Khawarij suicide bomber cowardly blew himself up, and 4 other Indian-sponsored Khawarij were hunted down and neutralized. Weapons, ammunition and explosives were also recovered from the Khawarij, who remained actively involved in numerous terrorist activities in the area. President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Mohammed Shahbaz Sharif have commended the security forces for the successful operation against the Khawarij in Pashin district. In his message, Asif Ali Zardari said intelligence-based operation against the Indian-backed Fitna al-Khawarij reflects the nation's resolve in the fight against terrorism. He said the war against terrorism will continue until the complete eradication of the menace. Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, in his message, said our security forces are making great progress against terrorist groups every single day with courage, determination and strength. He said the entire nation stands by the armed forces and the law enforcement authorities in the war against terrorists. Shahbaz Sharif expressed the commitment to completely eradicate all forms of terrorism from the country. Lieutenant Colonel Shahzada Gulfaraz Shaheed and Sepoy Karamat Shah Shaheed, who were martyred in Bannu, have been laid to rest with full military honours in their native areas. A large number of senior military officers, local elders and citizens attended the funeral prayers of the martyrs. Lieutenant Colonel Shahzada Gulfaraz and Sepoy Karamat Shah were martyred in a cowardly attack by Fitna al-Khawarij in Bannu. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. The Minister for Planning and Development, Ehsan Iqbal, says political stability and continuity of policies are necessary for sustainable progress in the country. He was addressing a ceremony organized in connection with the Prime Minister's laptop scheme at the University of Engineering and Technology in Lahore today. Ehsan Iqbal said the government is equipping the young generation with digital expertise as the role of artificial intelligence is growing in every sphere of life. The chairman Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority Bilal bin Saqib participated in the World Liberty Forum in the United States. Bilal bin Saqib described the forum as a key center for global financial leaders and policy makers. The Global Financial Forum focused on detailed discussions on the future of stablecoins, tokenization and financial innovation. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the miseries and victimization of Kashmiri women by Indian forces and the police personnel continue unabated. The research section of the Kashmir Media Service has released a report on the occasion of Kashmiri Women's Resistance Day being observed today. It said at least 690 women have been martyred by the Indian Forces personnel since January 2001 in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The All Parties Hurid Conference has said the Indian Bharatiya Janata Party government is using molestation as a weapon of war to humiliate people of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and to suppress their just demand for a plebiscite under the United Nations resolutions. In a statement, the APHC spokesman Advocate Abdur Rashid Minhas said the Indian forces have committed multiple war crimes against people of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and February 23rd is one of the blackest days in the history of Kashmir. He said the Gunanpushpura area was raided that night by hundreds of Indian forces personnel and over 100 girls and women were raped while nearly 200 men were tortured. The All Parties Hurid Conference urged the international human rights organizations to take steps to provide justice to the victims of Gunanpushpura tragedy. In Afghanistan, media access to areas affected by the Pakistani airstrikes has been blocked, exposing the Afghan Taliban regime's support for terrorists. Pakistan, based on credible and reliable intelligence, targeted the main locations of the terrorists in Afghanistan. According to the South Asia Times, Afghanistan has blocked access to the areas affected by Pakistan's airstrikes for Afghan media and civilians. The state-run Afghan media only showed footage of the debris from the Behsood district, and no reports were issued on the other destroyed hideouts. Residents of Paktika, Khost and Nangarhar reported that after the airstrikes, Taliban forces surrounded several areas. According to the South Asia Times, local citizens mentioned that terrorists, along with their families, had been residing in these areas for years. And now cricket. In the Super 8 stage of the ICC T20 World Cup, Zimbabwe will face the West Indies in Wankhede today. The match will start at 6:30 in the evening. And finally, the weather report. The Pakistan Meteorological Department has forecast mainly dry weather in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours, with daytime temperatures expected to remain above normal. Cold weather is expected in northern parts during the night hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.